Hey there, everybody. We are back live on day 5 of Survive to Thrive Live. So this is day 5. It is our very last day in this series together. So far this week, we have talked about messaging, motivation, muscles, minimize, and then now today we're going to be talking about magic. So I love thinking about it in this term of magic because it's a little bit real. It gives us, it helps us to understand that we do need to feel like it does take a little bit of magic to create this life that we really want to live and to feel how we want to feel in that life. So when I say magic, it's really coming from us. It's not coming from outside sources, although that absolutely is a component of it, but we can't put all our trust in the outside sources. It really has to come from us within. A lot of times to make this happen, to keep going in that direction of feeling like we want to be thriving and not simply surviving. So here's what I want to talk about today. As we talk about magic, I want to talk about mantras. I want to talk about creating or finding or building a tribe and how that differs, just in my view, from a village. And then I also want to talk about how we need to practice these things and practice all the things that we've talked about the last 5 days to keep this going in our worlds, because this 5-day reset that I like to call it, it's not going to fix things in our life that might feel a little bit broken. We are not broken. There's nothing inside of us that needs to be fixed, but we just need to practice cultivating the scenarios, the environments around us, our relationships, to keep, again, moving in that direction of feeling like we're not just functioning every single day of our lives. Let me know if you're on live right now. Say hello. Can see your names popping up here. My husband and some other friends and his mom are here and they are building our fence outside. So hopefully it's not super loud. But it's gonna be amazing because then I won't have to constantly chase the toddler into the alleyway and onto the road. We'll be able to actually sit for a minute or two back there while she plays, so it's gonna be good. Yes, Jenny, totally agree. Magic is the perfect term for the culmination of all these fabulous concepts. I love that. So fun to see you here. Okay, so number 1, let's talk about mantras. So this is something just quick that can bring you back in the moment. Perfect example right now as I was trying to get on live here today. So everybody's out back building. Steele and I are kind of running around outside. I'm chasing her, trying to keep her out of the construction zone. Bake some cookies, cleaning up the kitchen, getting her lunch ready so she can eat while I'm doing this and not be too in the way, a little bit contained. Finding the headphones, just in case I need them if it's too loud. Getting my computer, coming down here, setting up, all that stuff. Got down here at 11:58. It's 12 noon for me in our time zone to get on. So many things, right? This can just kind of feel like the pace a lot of the time for moms in general, for people in general who live full packed schedules. This is just it. So in these moments where I'm feeling like I could go to that place of survival mode and feeling like, oh, this is too much, this is overwhelming, I feel stressed, I feel anxious, really, let's just bring it back to the fact that I am grateful that I get to. So that's one of the mantras that I think about often. It's one that helped me so much early postpartum through some of those difficult weeks. Grateful that I get to. Kept reminding myself of that when I came down the stairs to set up. I'm so grateful that I get to do these things, that we get to have a fence built, that I get to cook lunch for my kid, that I get to come on and live my passion and talk to you all. I mean, those are incredible things. So we can lose sight of that pretty easily at times because it can all just feel like a little bit too much. Like we need more time, like we need more support, like we need more energy, more sleep. We probably all need more sleep. But grateful that we get to do these things, and that can just bring us back to the moment. One other one I put in the guidebook is just something else that I remind myself of: find the thrive. So bring it back right to that word of thriving. Find the thrive. So in that situation where you might feel harried in the grocery store, when the kiddo is starting to lose it when you get to the checkout line, like, can you find the thrive somewhere in that moment, without going to that place of feeling like this is the worst ever? Yeah, Sarah says, I feel I have 2 babies today, and the morning was crazy, but nap time is on point. Yes, so good. That's always amazing when that happens. Yeah, you know what? And this, having kiddos, goodness, I can't even imagine with more than one at times. Kudos, major respect to those of you who do it. It's just a lot of things. It really is. There's so many things that you need to constantly be doing and being aware of. Yeah, it's tough, super tough. So those are the mantras that I tend to come back to. Grateful that I get to. Again, early postpartum, said it a ton to myself, especially during C-section recovery, infection in that C-section scar, tough nights where you were nursing all night long, feeding baby all night long, a million wake-ups, do it all again the next day. Grateful that I get to. And yeah, it's okay that sometimes things suck and they're not fun. That's absolutely fine to feel too. But again, just a slight mindset shift to keep us going in the direction that we want to go and how we want to feel. Okay, second point, which is subtle, but for me made a big difference. So in my pregnancy, early postpartum, people told me a lot that I needed to find my village, that I needed to get out of the house more. Not saying not to do that, but just examples, that I needed to get out of the house more, that I needed to go to the mom and baby groups, that I needed to sign us up for classes, that we needed to do the things. And I didn't want to. I still don't want to. And I think I was saying this the other day, that I used to coach mom and baby fitness classes for years in person. And honestly, that's not something I would go to myself. It's not something I did for myself. Steele's almost 2, and we have not been to one registered session of classes because I just mentally can't commit to it. I just don't want to. That is stressful for me, to have things that are scheduled every week for long extended periods of time. That's why this is 5 days, because that's what I can commit to and feel comfortable with it. My point in this is, do you. You do not have to do those things. You do not have to should yourself in any way through this journey. If that feels good for you, to sign up for the things, to know that you're going to be getting out tomorrow at 11 to go to the class, to see those moms, for your kid to hang out with the other kids, that's incredible, and I absolutely encourage you to do it. For me, it just doesn't feel right, and that's fine too. So village for me feels like way too much pressure. Village to me as an introvert just feels like I need to be doing more. I should be hanging out with people on a regular basis. I should be getting my kid to play with more kids 4 times a week instead of twice. So village to me, it puts more stress on me. So I reframed it into tribe. I like the word tribe. You might have seen me talk about this or tag it as tribe, to Pregnancy and Beyond Tribe on Instagram, because that's what I feel our mamas are. They are a tribe. They are from all different places around the world, but the connection, the deepness of that connection, the support, the respect they have for each other, it is so clear and so apparent. It is the strongest example of that I have ever seen, and none of them see each other in person, basically. 99% of them don't see each other in person. So I just want you to know that that in-person connection is extremely important, but it does not have to make up the full extent of your tribe. It does not have to make up the full extent of that connection that you have with people. You can find it from different areas and different sources. It does not simply just have to be registered in-person classes. Take that stress and that pressure off. And again, go back to whatever feels right and good for you. Whatever feels right and good for you. If you crave lots of in-person stuff that lights you up, then absolutely continue to do it. If you know that that in-person stuff, especially in that early few months postpartum, just feels like more weight on you, you do not have to do it, and you're still doing an amazing job for yourself and your kid. So do you. Do not should yourself into things that other people might be saying that you should be doing, the books are telling you that you need to be doing. Bring it back just to yourself and really, really commit to only doing things that are lighting you up. Next thing I want to talk about is this idea from my mentor, Susanna Frioni. And she's incredible. If you're not following Susanna, absolutely do that. She talks a lot about sensuality, sexuality, all these things that can tie into motherhood really intimately. But one thing she says is that pleasure can be inconvenient. And this is so, so true. And it's probably been reinforced to me in so many ways since becoming a mom. So pleasure can be inconvenient. So things like this, for example, this to me brings me a lot of pleasure. It's so fun for me to be able to connect with you all, but it can be a little bit inconvenient. Just, again, example today, need to pass the kid off to whoever. That person won't be able to help do the job right now. It's kind of inconvenient, but the pleasure is worth it for me and for everyone around me too. For example, scheduling date nights with your partner, if that is something that is a practice in your life, that can be inconvenient. But the pleasure of it, hopefully, will outweigh the inconvenience of it. So the point being from Susanna is just that sometimes we need to work a little bit for that pleasure. It might not just come at us easily. We might have to put that effort in order to experience pleasure. This reframe for me has been so helpful the last even 6 months or so. So putting yourself in situations that you know you're going to gain pleasure from. And for me, an example of this is, say, in-person connection with people, because it can feel inconvenient to need to get to a certain place at a certain time. Maybe you need to wake the kid up from the nap, whatever the situation may be. You need to get childcare. That all can be inconvenient, but the pleasure that you're going to gain from that can really outweigh and can give you so many benefits. So pleasure is inconvenient. Apply that to your life however you need to, and just see what comes up. Last thing I want to talk about is practice. So like I was saying, it's not magic in the sense that now, forever and ever, we're just going to feel like we're thriving, that things are going to be perfect, we're not going to be overwhelmed, we're just going to feel incredible all the time. That's not really the thing. That's not really what's going to happen. We need to practice feeling like how we want to feel over the long term, over the long haul. So we keep going back to everything that we talked about this week. We practice getting rid of that messaging in our world that's not working for us. We practice reframing our ideas around motivation. We take the action to feel that reaction of feeling more motivated. We practice strength training to make us feel strong and capable in our bodies, but also mentally and emotionally. We practice minimizing the stressors, minimizing our expectations that we have on ourselves for exercise, for food, for how we think our body should be looking or functioning. And then we practice finding the magic. Mostly every day, many times throughout the day too. I think that's really key for me right now in almost 2-year-old land. Practicing finding the magic at multiple points throughout the day. Because it's noon here, we've probably had at least 4 pretty good tantrums today, and then some calm in between that. We gotta find the magic in there, because this is just another day. And tomorrow is probably gonna be the same. So there has to be magic in these moments somewhere, because this is a life that I'm grateful that I get to do. So we have to keep reminding ourselves that this is something that we practice. There are still going to be difficult times where we need to check back in to our mindset and keep going. Does this all sound good? Let me know, post a comment. I can see them coming in. So I think that really is the biggest stuff that I wanted to talk about today. Finding the magic, knowing that it really does come from within, but also having those conversations with people in your life that can help support you, I think is absolutely so key too. So lots of different factors coming into this. All right, everybody, I think that's it for today. So Survive to Thrive Live, we have wrapped up. Remember our 5 big themes: messaging, motivation, muscles, minimize, and magic. Take those with you, see how it feels in your life, try on whatever ones you need to try on. Reminder that I will be sending the entire playlist to you of all these 5 sessions right after we're done here, so you should be getting it within the hour. And if you're on the email list, there is a bonus coming at you that you might be interested in. So that's it. Thank you so much for playing along. Always am grateful that I get to speak with you all on all of these different topics. So have a great weekend.